Welcome to this explainer on trend resistor psychology. Let's set the scene for a second. Think back to a few years ago. While absolutely everyone was freezing in place for the mannequin challenge, there was always that one person just kind of watching with silent, judgmental motion. You know exactly the type I'm talking about. When TikTok dances first went totally viral, they just scrolled right past. When we were all proudly posting our colorful Spotify Wrapped graphics at the end of the year, they completely ignored it. Well, today we're going to uncover why their brains might actually be wired completely differently than the rest of ours. Okay, let's really dive into this. I want you to stop and think about your own behavior for just a second. When the whole world, and I mean literally everyone, is telling you to download an app or watch some massive hit show or do a specific viral dance, what is your immediate gut reaction? Be honest. Because if you're a natural trend resistor, your absolute first instinct is to do the exact opposite. So, psychologists actually have a specific name for this exact phenomenon: psychological reactance. Now, this isn't just someone being stubborn just for the sake of being annoying. It's actually a genuine defense mechanism. When these individuals feel like their freedom is being threatened, even by something as incredibly harmless as a friend saying, "Hey, try this app," literally everyone is using it, their brain goes into full-on fight-back mode. The more they see something everywhere, the more it feels like this high-pressure sales pitch. It's the exact same hardwired brain response that makes a forbidden cookie taste so much better, or, makes you suddenly want to stay up super late the second someone tells you it's time to go to bed. See, we are biologically wired to protect our freedom, and for some people, trends feel like these tiny, persistent attacks on that freedom. Research has actually found that people who have a particularly strong need to feel unique, they experience genuine physical discomfort when they feel like they're becoming way too similar to the crowd. For them, a trending activity isn't just unappealing, it's actively threatening to who they are as a person. It's like their identity has an immune system, and the trend is treated like an invading virus that literally must be expelled. Now, what's genuinely fascinating about this slide is the tragic irony of it all. Because you might be sitting there thinking, wait a minute, isn't avoiding trends just a trend itself? Well, congratulations, you've just stumbled onto the hipster paradox. Yes, actual mathematicians modeled this back in 2014, and they proved that when a large group of people all try to be different in the exact same way, they inevitably end up looking totally identical. It is mathematically unavoidable. But actually, scratch that. This only really applies to people resisting trends just to look cool. True trend resistors are a completely different story. To really get to the bottom of this behavior, we have to look at two entirely different types of nonconformists. Type 1 is the contrarian. Their whole identity is built entirely on being against things. You show them something popular and they will exhaustingly list out like 17 reasons why it's actually terrible. But then we have type 2, the authentic non-participant. These people aren't aggressively against trends at all. They genuinely just don't care what everyone else is doing. They're just operating on a completely different wavelength. And these two distinct identities, they're driven by completely different motivations. Contrarians are externally motivated. Their choices are 100% reactions to what other people are doing. But authentic non-participants are internally motivated. Studies actually call these people low self-monitors, which basically means they barely even notice the social pressure. Just think about how they process a trending pop song, right? To them, it's not some massive cultural moment, it's just a song. They either vibe with the beat or they don't, completely ignoring all the social context buzzing around it. Which brings up a massive, absolutely crucial question. Why on earth would human brains ever evolve to ignore the tribe? Well, get ready for a plot twist. It turns out having brains that naturally resist conformity might have actually saved humanity. Let's travel back in time for a second. Imagine if everyone in an early human tribe was a group thinker, everybody getting excited about the exact same food source or all chasing the mammoth to the left. You would rapidly deplete your resources and face immense danger. But if your tribe had alternative seekers who naturally just said, "Nah, you guys go ahead, I'm going right," they provided this vital survival insurance. When the popular watering hole inevitably dried up, guess what? It was the trend resistors who had already found the backup water supply. And this brilliantly illustrates how deeply ingrained this is because there is actual genetic evidence behind this behavior. Scientists have connected trend resistance to novelty-seeking genes, specifically the DRD4-7R variant. It's really often called the wanderer gene, and it's directly linked to both a high tolerance for risk-taking and a natural inclination to go against established social norms. Literally, these were the early humans who left the warm, comfortable safety of the group fire just to see what was over the next mountain.
Now, of course, that wanderer gene definitely came with varying results. Sometimes going against the group meant discovering beautiful new lands and vital resources. And sometimes, well, sometimes it meant discovering bears. But the point is, humanity absolutely needed them to take that risk.
Bringing this all the way back to the modern day, the psychological trade-offs of this behavior are just wonderfully complex. On one hand, trend resistors report much higher life satisfaction regarding their choices. Their life is theirs, right? They buy a product because they actually want it, not because some influencer told them to. But on the flip side, there is a very real loss of connection. Trends, as super annoying as they can be sometimes, create shared experiences. They create inside jokes. When you aggressively opt out of everything, you also opt out of that connection.
And there is a specific number that makes this trade-off so incredibly difficult: 150. Anthropological research suggests we actually evolved in tribes of exactly 150 people. In those ancient tribes, shared knowledge and shared culture literally meant survival. So when you constantly fight the urge to participate in shared cultural moments today, you're actually fighting a deeply hardwired human need for belonging.
A completely fascinating 2019 study mapped this all out and revealed a clear sweet spot for happiness. It turns out that neither extreme adoption of trends nor complete resistance to them leads to high life satisfaction. The sweet spot? It's moderate participation. This just means being selective. It's having the ability to joyfully join in on the cultural moments that genuinely interest you while completely comfortably skipping the ones that don't, regardless of how popular they are.
Which brings us to a very uncomfortable truth for any of the contrarians watching this explainer right now. If your first thought when seeing something popular is always, ugh, that's so basic, you are not actually free from trends. You are defined by them. You're kind of like a shadow. Think about it. Shadows need objects to exist. If the popular object moves, you move in response. You might think you're fiercely independent, but your entire identity is literally being shaped by whatever the mainstream dictates, just in reverse.
So the crucial point is, what does true independence actually look like? It's beautifully simple, really. True freedom isn't automatically rejecting what's popular, and it's not automatically accepting it either. It's the ability to evaluate something totally independent of its social status. It's liking Taylor Swift without a single shred of irony. It's wearing Crocs simply because your feet hurt. It's skipping a viral internet challenge without feeling this false sense of superiority over the people who are happily doing it. So I want to leave you with this final, kind of difficult question to chew on. If everyone suddenly stopped doing the thing you're refusing to do, would you still refuse? Because if your answer is yes, you're making a truly authentic choice. But if it's no, well, you've just been performing. Ultimately, nobody is better or smarter for joining or ignoring trends. We all just have differently wired brains. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and remember to keep questioning not just what you do, but exactly why you do it.